One of the beautiful things about being Asian American is the amount of different opportunities for solidarity and partnership because of the identities that we carry and because of the identity that I carry.
As one of the most culturally diverse groups in the country, and with over hundreds of years of rich history, we invite you to listen and learn about the richness and diversity of the American Asian Pacific Islander community through hearing from some of our EVERFI family.
I'm Kat Shea, she, her, hers. I'm the anti-hate training coordinator at Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago. For those who are a little bit less familiar about Asian Americans Advancing Justice, I am in one of the 5 affiliate offices. And colloquially, I like to call us, we're like the NAACP of Asian Americans. We are a pan-Asian organization. We work on a wide variety of policy and civil rights issues. Asian Americans Advancing Justice was the first nonprofit or social justice organization as an Asian that I learned about for Asians. Why do we learn about people who aren't like us? What's the point in doing that? Is a question that I think doesn't really get addressed explicitly throughout our schooling systems. It's honestly very liberating to be in this space right now, especially given the moment that we're in. How do we talk about race and identity? How do we be able to celebrate and see people for who they are? These are efforts people weren't talking about in my childhood. These were efforts people weren't really caring about 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
What impact do you see once people are able to tell their story, or they are able to feel connected, or they're being heard?
What I can say is this. When I do see people who are asking questions to other folks, who are trying to gather folks in groups, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like unionizing, but sometimes it's just is creating affinity groups or making sure that we have some ERGs or something along those lines. When I see folks who are trying to create events, when I see folks who are joining groups outside of work, who are sharing their stories growing up, I can only imagine how lost but also kind of exciting it is for people. And I can only imagine like how optimistic they might feel about their journey. And I think that those are all really illuminating. And it's something you never really get sick of seeing.
Hi, my name is Hannah Kim, and I am the schools manager in Puyallup, Washington. So any schools, teachers, admin districts that are around me in Washington State that needs any support for EVERFI, I am your support person. I am Korean, and the biggest value that my parents always taught us is that teamwork makes the dream work. It was all about all hands on deck, everybody's always contributing. So every Korean household has a dish called kimchi. It is fermented spicy cabbage, and it's super versatile. You throw it in soup, you throw it in stew, you throw it in dumplings. That's my absolute favorite, is to make pork belly kimchi jjigae, which is like kimchi stew with it. And we store it in a special fridge like this called kimchi fridge, and it basically just stores your kimchi in like the perfect state of fermentation. And kimchi takes a really long time to make. It takes usually a whole day of salting and then to make the little spices. And so usually families will gather together during the winter time when all the cabbage is harvested and it's like in that prime sweet state, and then you eat it throughout the year. So you have to have a kimchi fridge to be able to store all that kimchi that you make. So when I think about a role model, I think a lot about my parents. My parents immigrated here when I was in elementary school, and they didn't speak the language. They didn't speak any English. They don't have a college degree. It's not like they had a job lined up here to look forward to. And it was just really more of a choice that they decided to make when they thought about what they wanted for my brother and I's future. They took on any job that they can get to be able to provide for us. I can't even imagine how they balanced all of that. The job, their tiredness, their own self-needs, and then taking care of my brother and I, making sure we're always fed, making sure we're always taken care of. I grew up here, I went to college here, I have a job, I have family that helps me and supports me with raising my child, and there are days that it's hard, and so I can't even imagine how difficult it must have been for them, and the isolation and the loneliness that they must have felt from time to time. And I really do think they embody the sacrificial love and the perseverance, what it means to work hard.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Nakamura and I'm the Senior Director of K-12 Programs here at EVERFI. My grandmother has been and will forever be one of my biggest role models. Standing only at 4'11", she was quite bold and fierce and such a powerhouse. After meeting my grandfather, who served in the US Navy, she immigrated from Japan to the United States to start a whole new life. And despite facing discrimination right when she arrived because of her culture, the way she looked, the way she spoke, she never let hate stand in her way. And although she tried so hard to assimilate to the American culture, which resulted in her getting her US citizenship, she continued to stay connected to her Japanese roots and has inspired my family, has inspired me, the importance of coming from a multicultural family. And so at the age of 95, she unfortunately passed away about 2 weeks ago. But I am forever grateful for the relationship that I had with her and for the values that she instilled in me and for the lessons that she shared with me. And I hope that I will be able to continue her legacy and to be able to pass along those values to my own son.
We all have a role in supporting and building our diverse communities. Continue to share your story and visit everfi.com/K-12 to gather resources for you and for your students.